leadership and living legacy of India's most illustrious royal families, His Highness Yaduveer Krishnadatta Wodeyar. As a child, what do you remember about Dasara?
But the entire family would be there during Dasara. Enjoy the moment in terms of being with family.
Coming to your children, does he actually understand the lineage of the royal heritage he has?
So, they're a very sharp bunch. So, obviously, he's going to know where he is and what he's doing and where he's coming from.
What is that one thing you would like to take from Modi ji? What is that you like in him?
Leadership has yielded many positive dividends for the country.
Hello and welcome to NewsFirst Prime. This is Archana Ravikumar. In today's episode, we shall embark on a journey through tradition, leadership and living legacy of India's most illustrious royal families. Our guest is not just a custodian of history, but a vibrant symbol of hope and progress. His Highness Yaduveer Krishnadatta Wodeyar. Crowned as the Maharaja of Mysuru, Yaduveer Wodeyar gracefully bridges the regal grandeur of the past with the dynamic reality of the present. Educated at the world's leading institutions and guided by strong sense of responsibility, he's revived the people's interest in heritage, philanthropy and cultural pride. Join us as we unravel the story, vision and ideals of Yaduveer Wodeyar.
Namaste, thank you for having me.
First of all, talking about Dasara itself, Mysuru Dasara has its own legacy of its own. And for us as spectators to watch it, it's so divine and so spiritual. You're a part of it. How do you feel?
Obviously, nowadays my focus is purely on the rituals and finishing the task at hand and seeing that is done in the proper way as per the framework that has been set up by my ancestors, etc. But of course, it is a celebration. It is a time of festival. And so we try our best to enjoy it as well. And I think in finishing the rituals in the right way, in ensuring that our worship is done in the right way, is a very satisfactory experience and a satisfactory outcome as well. So obviously my focus is more there and less. I think the people outside get to enjoy it for pure enjoyment's sake a lot more. My focus is of course on ensuring that I am worshipping and doing all the rituals in the right way.
Yeah, but ritual itself, that gives you kind of an ecstasy, I suppose. Does that actually happen?
Well, I mean, it depends on the perspective of the person. People have different experiences while doing the worship. People have different expectations. For me, it is a honoring of our very ancient tradition. It is a worship of a very organized philosophical system. And you are seeing that symbolic playing out while doing that worship. There is meaning and there is a very, I would say, organized approach to every ritual that is done. And it is being played out when you do these things. And so that is of tremendous importance to me.
As a child, what do you remember about Dasara? How different is it?
Well, all my family and I used to say obviously spend all 10 days when I was very young, 1-2 years old. Obviously after that when you join school etc. and you have so many other things of life, you would only come in the last few days. But the entire family would be there during Dasara because we are all over the place as a family. One time in the year when we all came together was during Dasara. So usually the last 4 days we would come. I remember of course my father doing all the rituals and he would do the darbar as well, and then Navami day the Ayodhya Puja and Dashmi day the Vijayadashmi celebrations etc. So obviously those are all very now sweet memories, and now of course having to do it myself, my focus is on that rather than celebrating for celebration's sake. But those times we were more, I suppose, free to enjoy the moment in terms of being with family. Celebrating, just being together and being all part of this great tradition. I would never imagine that one day I would be doing it myself. So that is, a blessing, and of course, it is a tremendous duty as well, and one that I never take lightly.
How does the royal family maintain the spiritual and ritual significance of Dasara despite the changes in the administration, state administration and public events?
Nobody has, any household has never given up their dharmic rights. As a household that is been conducting this tradition for now 400 years, we continue to do so the same way. Of course, the public aspects of it, like the procession at the end, the Vijayatri at the end, the entire Mysore army being there, etc., are not there obviously now. But the rest of the observances in a ritual sense are done to a T. So there is no difference in that sense. It is just the scale of it. If you compare to pre-independence or even during my grandfather's time up to 69, was obviously far greater. But the same tenets and principles are followed. The same rituals are done in a smaller scale within the framework of the palace.
Are any new elements being added this year, 2025, to uphold the tradition of Dasara?
No, I mean, these are things that are written in stone. You cannot change things as per your whims and fancies. There is a public aspect that the government does, and they change it as per the circumstances and time. And when we were in conducting the entire affair ourselves, during Charmrat Wodeyar the 10th time, there was the Dasara exhibition introduced. During Krishnadatta Wodeyar's time, it was further enhanced in many other, both as a tourism aspect, as a celebration of the entire Mysore brand and the Mysore state. Also, these elements were added. My grandfather brought up a lot of the cultural elements during his time, and so all of these happened when we were, of course, ruling the state. And obviously, now that we are just conducting it as custodians of this tradition, we have to do it in the scale that we do it as a household, and we continue to uphold the ritual side to a T.
How do you balance yourself as a traditional king and now an elected representative?
I mean, I don't really look at myself in that lens. We are a custodian to a certain tradition that has to be upheld. There is an expectation from the state of Karnataka at large, given the fact that we had a large amount of goodwill, given the fact that the erstwhile Mysore state was a very progressive state, did a lot for the people here. And so there's always that goodwill, and with that goodwill is an expectation that you obviously conduct yourself a certain way and do a certain amount of maybe social appearances or social work that is required of such a station. But obviously in modern India and its current constitutional framework, we have all the equal rights as you or any other citizen of India, and that's, I think, privilege enough for us. We enjoy it, and I think we should all be in support of it going forward. The balancing aspect of it obviously now comes in because there's a tradition on one hand, and then there's of course your role as the public representative at the center. So, I mean, beyond the tradition, all my time is given to that. I don't really do much else nowadays, but I think I've had a very satisfactory experience in the amount I have learned and the amount I have been able to contribute back in terms of being a bridge between the center and my constituency as well.
Actually, people have welcomed you with open arms. They've loved you. And we've also seen you during campaigns. You've actually had tea in roadside, small places and things like that. You are trying to minimize the gap between royalty and common people. At the same time, how do people actually look at you? You know, do they look at the reverence of a king or the love of as a representative?
I've always said this. For me, whatever they might have in the campaign sense picked up on me sipping tea at a tea stall, but you can go ask the people at Ramya Hotel. I have done this before innumerable amount of times. I just never felt the need that I have to show it, or I have to somehow validate my commonness or lack thereof. That was only in the campaign a convenient narrative which those who were against us set up, and we put the convenient narrative in place to show it. I've never felt the need that I have to validate that. I lead a largely normal life. I continue to do so this day, and I think if you are natural and live as per your nature, that is the most welcoming thing you can do in order to be accepted in society. You cannot be someone who you're not. The fact that I was drinking tea there isn't because I wanted to show something. It's because I've done it innumerable amount of times. You can ask the waiter there at Ramya Hotel in Mysore. You can go and ask him without me having to even tell him anything.
So that was just overblown then.
See, within the campaign, there are narratives set. It's a campaign, it's an election campaign. You're trying to set a narrative. There are agendas being built against you. You have to build an agenda for your case. So there are certain aspects which you've never felt the need to showcase, which you have to show. The narrative being built against me is he is not a common man and will not understand the issues of a common man, which could not be further from the truth. If we couldn't understand the problems of everyday citizens, then how did we manage to set up what was one of the most progressive state in India? And my ancestors have always maintained that, you know, the Maharaja is a father in every home. He is a son in every home. He is a brother to in every home. So that is the viewpoint I still have to this day. It's not one of leadership is essentially that you understand that you are they are looking to you as a certain to fulfill certain aspirations, and you have to be that person that is someone who they can look up to as a person of their own household. So that is what I even said in the campaign, that, you know, I will be essentially a son to every household in doing my work.
Okay. So how does your day at the palace look like? You know, how do you kind of tradition and blend tradition and modernity in your day-to-day life?
I don't think there's anything that requires blending. Tradition is tradition.
Incorporated rather.
Yeah, tradition is tradition. There's nothing that is at conflict with modernity in tradition. We've been drinking Mysore coffee, filter coffee for now at least 120 years, if not little longer. That's the tradition that's there, and it's as relevant now as it is then. We do puja in the morning. There's nothing to blend in that. That's just life for us. So I have no conflicts in that. For me, it's just that's the way we live, and so there is nothing for me to blend with modernity or any such thing. I do whatever I'm expected to do, just naturally. There is no blending required or anything to be changed in order for it to be accepted as modern.
We know that you're very spiritually rooted, and you often talk about Rajadharma. How do you interpret that in today's world, like political and social status of India?
Well, I mean, I said this multiple times. The principles of rule and ruling, and of doing work for the benefit of all and for the welfare of all, remain the same. Here you ask for the vote and get elected. There you're born into a role. But in serving society, it's the same principles that pervade there at that time or now. Working for the welfare of society is still the same it was then as it is now. There are still bad kings, and there are today bad politicians as well. And there are good kings as well and good politicians as well. That's just the nature of the reality we live in. Raj Dharma in our Hindu and rather Bharatiya heritage and our Bharatiya Itihasa gives a framework for how a ruler, in today's case maybe a politician, should conduct himself when authority is given to him, how he should behave, how he should work, to what end he should work, is a great framework is given within that. So the principles remain the same. You can call it Rajkarni, I mean Rajkiya, whatever Dharma also if you want. You can change the name, but the principles remain the same, the text is the same.
It's been a year and 3 months since you have got into politics. Has it been an eye-opener kind of a thing, or is it something that you've learned out of it?
There's certainly a lot of learnings. I mean, there is no doubt you will learn a lot, because obviously, and to nobody's surprise, I had no former experience in the sense of being on the ground in terms of working within an organization. I might have had knowledge to the end of it, but till you actually get into the organization, you won't know the workings of the organization at the booth level, at the Karyakarta level, at the Shakti Kendra level, etc., so on and so forth. So obviously the learnings have been tremendous. I think the greatest help it has been is in people management, because I don't think you ever deal with such a vast, diverse set of thoughts, of feelings, of sentiments, and of communities as you do when in politics, because invariably, even in our own careers or even like within the palace framework, you're in this culture and this tradition and this society where it's one perspective generally. You hardly get to see different perspectives, and even though in the palace you have a vast linkage with many communities and many associations, largely you were asked to participate in their festivals or their public functions that were of the same sentiment. It was cultural, or it was spiritual, or dharmic, or some sort of celebration, some sort of building opening, something. You never got to really do the day-to-day life of every community. So I think that people management and that real being aware of the day-to-day of so many different diverse sets of communities is certainly an eye-opener.
Under Nalvadi Krishnadatta Wodeyar, Mysore saw the golden era. In fact, even way back then itself, it was the best administered state in the world itself. So, what kind of inspiration do you draw from him? And if currently the democratic setup, does it allow that kind of things to be incorporated?
So, I mean, obviously, it's an inspiration for us all. If not, definitely, it wouldn't be romanticized so much today. I mean, anyone in Karnataka you ask, you can ask the forces that oppose us. They will also attest to the same fact that it was a golden era. But the fact remains that we have to achieve the same thing in the democratic setup now, and there's no reason why we cannot. But it's up to us to face those challenges and set it up. And I don't mean that it's me particularly, but as an organization, or what we're aspiring to do is rebuild towards that golden era for Karnataka or for Bharat itself, and essentially recreate that. So any inspiration we draw from them is to recreate it now. We also should be able to say that we lived in such an era, and our forerunners should romanticize our era as well. So I mean that is a great inspiration, and the learnings from that time certainly can be taken to implement it in a modern context going forward.
Have you started implementing it, or is it on the way?
No, certainly, it's not about me implementing it. It's about understanding the times we live in, the framework that is given to us, and how we can, within that framework, create such an environment. Our Prime Minister has very clearly said his agenda is for a Viksit Bharat 2047, the complete economic development of India. Modern democracies align themselves with economic development. So there's economically undeveloped, economically developing, and economically developed nations. We want to move from a developing to a developed nation. Economic development is the one marker that I think takes everybody up. Meaning obviously there'll be issues all around, but if anything is proven by economic development, it's that the standard of living of everyone, the vast majority of people, will definitely go up. So that is the road to a golden age, and golden age is the perspective of the people who are living in that time. And certainly if we make it convenient for them to live quality lives and achieve things beyond just day-to-day work, etc., and live a life of meaning and quality, then that I think is what a golden era is.
What is your dream towards Mysore and the Kodagu region?
Again, it's within the democratic setup. Once you are elected, there are certain powers an MP has, an MLA has. It isn't a power of a dictator. There are certain limits within which you have to work, and very clearly the centre under our Prime Minister's rule has put in this framework for a Viksit Bharat. There are 60 odd schemes, there is so many capex projects, there is infrastructure projects, all of this happening within each of our constituencies, and the MP's role is to essentially oversee that, implement it in the right way, and if there are any differences or any issues, bring it to the notice of the centre, get it rectified, and within that framework, whatever comes to us, also be an active part in creatively sorting it out and creatively ensuring that better livelihood is given for those of your constituents for whatever comes under the centre's purview. So within that framework, Mysore and Kodagu has very many works that are happening. There's a highway between Mysore and Kodagu. There is the airport that has now taken very good strides. There is the new railway entry and exit points, 2 of them which are coming. Essentially, it will be like 3 more platforms. A lot of such works that are happening on an infrastructure side. Our tobacco growers within Mysore rural hopefully will have a good rate this time. We've seen to it that is made convenient for them when by October 8th, 9th the auctions start. Coffee growers, of course, have had a very bad, unexpected rains now. So, of course, the surveys are ongoing as to how much they will get as compensation. But overall, as coffee growers, etc., also we are looking into their interests. Hopefully, with certain pieces falling into place, we'll be able to, via the Coffee Society, create a Kodagu coffee brand, which, because I think one of the few things we've not really done is capitalize on the fact that Karnataka grows most of the coffee of India. And so perhaps that Kodagu coffee brand is something that is we should have done more aggressively in ensuring that that product is to its last end in the supply chain is being capitalized by the people of Kodagu, and perhaps industries around caffeine as well and food processing around that coffee should also be incorporated into Kodagu, so that the value all the way up to the end product is being taken in Kodagu itself. So all of these works are happening alongside Mysore city, a lot of development works. We continue to be part of the social framework of the city and of the entire constituency as well, alongside even Chamarajanagar and Mandya and Hassan and even Chitradurga. Just yesterday we were there. So entire state also we toured. So all these activities are happening. Organizationally, whatever is expected from us, we are also adhering to. So on all fronts, we're trying our best to be a part of this endeavor to create a Viksit Bharat, and within that framework of Viksit Bharat are Viksit constituencies, in my case Kodagu and Mysore.
You often meet our Prime Minister Modi ji. What is that you actually talk? Because considering both of you are very spiritual, do you talk about spirituality and politics?
I don't want to understate or overstate any of these things. As much as an MP is required to meet the Prime Minister, we all get to meet him, and every second of his time is, I think, of tremendous value to us because he is an extremely busy person, and I think his leadership has yielded many positive dividends for the country, and I think under his guidance now and setting up this goal of the complete economic development of Bharat, I think we can really finally shed this weight of that socialism and all of these things which the red tape Raj and the license Raj and all of these issues that have been there economically for us, and really stand up as an economic powerhouse that we surely have the capability of being. Alongside that, he's, I think, revived this cultural ethos of India, which was always shut out as a sort of something we shouldn't be highlighting too much, and I think now India is taking pride in that. When he says Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, he says Sabka Virasat also, which is our heritage and our tradition. Very clearly, India is built on that spiritual, on that cultural ethos, and this Viksit Bharat also, he wants to build on that. So I think these agendas are really beneficial for India, and it's being done in an Indian way, in a Swadeshi way, which is, I think, the outcome we all desire.
No, what is that one thing you would like to take from Modi ji? What is that you like in him?
Well, he's someone who's touched, I think, the pinnacle of leadership. He's transcended from not just leader of India but a world leader. I think, if anything, it's how, I don't know, I honestly don't know how, but he manages his time to really adhere to everybody and still know everything about everyone. So you could, I think, randomly just be there and he'll know exactly what you're up to, and he'll have a idea about it, and he'll know exactly what you're doing. So despite having such a busy schedule, I'm sure he knows exactly what every MP is up to, how they are progressing, and what they are doing in service of the nation and the party. So I think that is just tremendous, the knowledge and the know-how of what is happening all the time. Like, it's hard enough for us in our own constituencies to know every, like, booth president, etc., or even every Shakti Kendra president, what he's up to and what he's doing. But for a Prime Minister that level, and who's transcended most of the Prime Ministers of India in terms of leadership, and is certainly on the world stage recognized as a world leader, to know in depth about, I'm not saying myself, every other MP, is something tremendous, I think.
Now, coming to your personal life, yours was a love marriage. Where did love blossom, and
it was an
how was
arranged
it?
marriage, I think. It's
Yeah.
just
So
made out to
you've heard so many
be.
stories about
No. I mean, obviously, a lot of curiosity and well, fine enough. But it was. I mean, if you want to say arranged in the technical sense, it is obviously arranged. In our households, it's always arranged. we were both introduced, and we were allowed time to get to know each other, and genuinely like and appreciate each other and love each other for what individually we are. So in that sense, it is more, I would say, like a love marriage. But if you want the technical understanding, it's obviously an arranged marriage.
Now, coming to your children, the younger one is 2, the elder one, does he actually understand the lineage of the royal heritage he has?
Well, I think we don't try to get too much of that into him, like understand. He knows where he is and what he is, obviously. He's not, the kids these days are, very sharp. Not just him, all his friends also, very sharp bunch of kids. They know exactly what's happening. You can't really get away with anything much, to watch your, mind your P's and Q's around them as well. So, they're a very sharp bunch. So, obviously, he's going to know where he is and what he's doing and where he's coming from. But I think as much as possible, you try to keep them humble and have a personality that is more in line with, what modern Bharat expects. And, these things are good within the tradition of the framework, but you have to still adhere to social norms and conduct yourself in a manner that I think every Bharatiya expects today.
Do they have a normal schooling? Because quite a few royal families we've heard, they have this homeschooling and stuff.
Well, that was at that time.
Even now,
from my grandfather himself, during the state times, went to University of Mysore for his college. All of his sisters all went to University of Mysore College, and some of them even went to school later on outside. And I wasn't born into the household, so I've obviously done schooling, everything schooling in Bangalore. And my children now also do their schooling in normal schools in Mysore. So I don't see anything special in that or anything to mention in that. It's just what is expected today, and I think we're all the better for it.
How is history explained to them? For instance, not everything is not available on textbooks. Considering their lineage, their history, how is it taught? Like, do you sit them down and tell about it?
Well, I now whatever is in the textbook he is learning.
Okay.
I did the same when I was growing up, and I learnt everything myself, or whenever I had a doubt, I had to go to my family elders or my parents, etc., and I would learn. And certainly there'll be a time when that has to be taught. But for now, I think let them learn within whatever framework is there, and wherever correction is needed, we'll give what is needed.
Are they required to learn some special skills being in the royal lineage?
I don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on any of them. Let them be and enjoy childhood as any other child would. Whatever he has to learn, he will learn. And the palace, I think it's an environment. Look at myself. I knew nothing of any of this in 2015. And just being in the palace, of course, my mother did do, a great amount of guidance was there and a great amount of teaching was there. And that will certainly be there for them as well. But as far as everything else was concerned, it's just being in that environment, you will naturally learn it and pick it up. I cannot tell you the amount of times that, when I'm looking for some knowledge on a subject, you just find the book you require in the palace. So I don't know how to explain that because there's no logical explanation, but it works.
Has it taken over his father in terms of reading?
My son,
yes,
reading?
Son.
He reads.
Reads a lot. Okay.
His relevant books to him.
Right.
There now, of course, a great amount of books for his age. He does everything from comics to regular books to whatever he can. He spends quite a bit of time reading.
Okay. How involved are you as a father? Like, is there some to-do list that you do every day for them?
No, nothing. I'm very casual about it in the sense there's nothing that I want to be doing with them. My wife is quite strict in all the things, so they generally get all of it done, and I think I'm better for it. Probably she's much better at it than I am. But I do enjoy playing my video games with them, watching some cricket or something with them, or playing outside with my elder son whenever I can get the time. And whatever requires to be done as time allows, we do.
How do you see yourself as role models, you and your wife? How do you see yourself as role models and custodians of history to the Mysore people?
I think I certainly don't view myself in that lens. I think I just there is certain principles and certain values you want to adhere to while not just because you're from this household, but because this is our society and this is a Bharatiya society, I think there's a tremendous amount of weight in that itself, and those manners of behaving and those manners which are required in the personality are required in everyone, not just because I'm in this household. So I think I try to follow that, and if that is liked by people and it allows us to make or allows others to build a more cohesive and good society, then I think I'm happy or satisfied with that outcome.
You're a voracious reader yourself. So, is there any book or philosophy that has greatly influenced you in terms of your duty and leadership?
I mean, every book that's given. I mean, I get obviously now a lot more books than I used to. I mean, before they used to gift a lot of books. I try to read as much as possible on various subjects. And generally, of course, history being the most interesting, I'll tend to be there. But I try to diversify to increase my own knowledge about certain things. I think there are certain books that are very much an eye-opener. I'm reading one currently by Pankaj Saxena called Swayam Bodha and Shatru Bodha. They are very, I think, required reading for every Bharatiya to understand. So everyone once in a while a great book will come along, which is a big eye-opener. You want to talk purely about history. While I don't like how it is largely not India-centric, India was such a big part of the Silk Roads. But the Silk Roads, which is a book on the Silk Road, is quite an eye-opener as well.
Who's your favorite author? Be it the Western or
There's
the
a
Indian?
very, obviously a very tough thing to corner anybody. But I'm a big wildlife lover. So every 6 months or at least every year, I will certainly pick up one of the Jim Corbett books and reread them. So I keep rereading them time and again.
This is a part of everybody's life. How do you de-stress yourself?
Well, I would say one round of exercise is always good. It really de-stresses better than anything else. Reading, listening to music is certainly good, and I mean, each person deals with it in a different way. But if really you need a break, for me, there's nothing better than wildlife and going out to one of the many jungles that surround Mysore.
Actually, generally about royalty, people have this preconceived notions about them. And in those lines, I have a few questions, if that's okay with
Please,
you. I mean, you
please.
could even laugh at it, but if there are common kind of questions.
Certainly, please.
First thing is, like, when you wake up in the morning and you clap and there are a fleet of people helping you, is that so?
Certainly not the case. I wouldn't. It's. I don't. I mean, I don't think anybody likes anybody being around them in the morning, apart from their loved ones. So for me, it's the same. Only my immediate family is around me. I think the staff only come in by 9:30, 10. On school days, I think some of the staff do come in a little earlier, but that's not obviously not in our room. So I just get up and I'm only with my family, and I make my own coffee is all in the morning.
So in palace, is that like every meal has a royal touch to it? There's a huge spread of delicacies.
No, not in Mysore Palace. No, certainly not. It's a very simple meals, including not just because it's me or my mother, my father's time. Before that, it's a very simple anna saru of our South Indian. There'll be one palya, that's one vegetable dish, and sometimes, depending on whether we want it or not, there is always some chapati and one goju, which is what sabzi, as they say. That's about it.
And the royal baths have been very famous. So the bath culture, does it still exist? Considering, like, for instance, when we go to a resort or a spa, we are given that royal package of a royal
Well,
bath.
I mean, there's
and
obviously a
things like
great
that.
sales pitch around royalty and Maharaja and all of these things.
Right.
But no, there's no such thing here. It's a very straightforward affair. I personally tend to do cold showers every day because it helps out. But obviously, nothing like
No
a hot
beauty
shower
rituals
once.
followed, per se.
I don't really care for such things too much.
Okay. Maybe this is not a very relevant question, but since you're already into politics, what do royals do for a living?
Well, I'm obviously, as I said, into politics. A lot of us run our hotels. Obviously, hospitality comes natural to us, having done it for so long. Other than that, I mean, there are very many varied careers that they've taken. So many of us do our own work within firms. Some of us work in magazines. Some of us do, yoga. I don't know, various things like whatever our passions are, we take it forward. A lot of us are in wildlife. Very many of us. So, I mean, whatever our passions are, we do it. Obviously, a lot of us are in politics. It's not some great secret. A lot of parliamentarians, a lot of locals also in various states come from former royal families, myself included. So, we try to keep busy and try to still contribute positively back to society.
Talking about wildlife itself, kings are known to have exotic pets. Do you have any?
No, I don't have any pets, leave alone exotic ones. And no, I'm not generally, I don't know, that somehow never had a pet like that. So we had Bangalore Palace, of course, has a lot of strays. So we try our best to have them all neutered and sort of keep them in some sort of semblance of welfare for them. But obviously the numbers are really crazy. So as much as possible.
Okay. And do you have some kind of protocols that you have to follow? For instance, like when you go somewhere, is there a dress code that you have to follow? Or you're just free to follow your will?
I mean, it's up to me. I mean, I would recommend to everyone to be well dressed, and I follow the same recommendation that I follow that. I follow whatever I'm saying as well. But yeah, as long as you are not what do you say, doing anything too that's personally me too exotic, I'm all for it.
Okay. And one more thing is, like in Dasara, here people we have these every day. They follow a dress code, color code rather. Do you also follow the same?
I think that's a recent development. I don't.
That
I don't
has
really.
nothing to do with the tradition.
I mean, I know on Vijayadashmi day we wear white generally, meaning that there are certain shades of color which you would want to wear just for the sake of it. I don't think, as far as I know, it isn't really tied to any religious sentiment like that. Color and religious sentiment, I think, is largely a modern construct.
Do you also scroll social media?
I used to a lot, but I deleted everything now. I let the teams do the social media.
Okay.
I have an overview with them every other morning as to what's happening, but I have deleted all the accounts.
And this is something like the common when do you order online, like for clothing or groceries?
Certainly in Delhi a lot more, because I think obviously it's convenient. Here largely it's taken care of before I do it, and there's not really time for me to do it anyway. So I eat generally on the go. So in Delhi, yes, certainly.
So you shop in Delhi mostly, otherwise also in person?
I don't go out to shop. I mean, the convenience of the apps now is very much something I'm a big fan of. Yeah, in Delhi the Zomato and the what's the other one, the Blinkit or whatever is used quite frequently. But even there now their setup is quite good, so they manage to do everything without me having to get in the way.
And do you go to movies in theaters? Do you watch them?
Much of a movie person. I prefer watching at home. So yeah, I'm not much of a movie goer.
Okay, so you do you have a personal favorite actor, as in anybody?
Well, if you want to talk about Hollywood, and certainly I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan. Watch all of his stuff, and yeah, I'm like again and again I've watched the Man with No Name trilogy. I will watch again and again, how many ever times you put it on. If you want to talk about our sandalwood, certainly the old black and white of Dr. Rajkumar are very good, because there are so many of them. You can see the old Mysore, so I watch it for that sake, amongst of course very good film as well. So yeah, that I would say. If you put me in a corner, certainly those two.
OTT is another thing. Do you watch series or movies in that?
I mean, obviously I try to read more on the planes, but every now and again I'll if there's something interesting, somebody recommends a good show, I will download it and keep it on the plane to watch. So I do have accounts, but it's used more by my family than me.
So which is the biggest myth of royalty you would like to bust today?
I think we've already busted a few. I think obviously we do not the stuff you see in films and the stuff you see in serials and you see on the screen is largely untrue. We do not have such. I don't want to undersell that the privilege of living in a actual palace, and the fact that we do so. And I don't want to by any means not say that we are privileged, but the level of which it is shown on screen is certainly exaggerated to a great extent.
As per the commercial aspect.
Well, obviously, it's a great sales pitch, right? And everybody would romanticize living luxuriously or very comfortably. But I think the real luxury is in simplicity.
Correct. So, what is your final philosophical and ethical advice you would like to give the youngsters of today who are aspiring to become leaders tomorrow?
Well, I think leadership starts at home. If you can be a leader at home, I'm not saying that everybody should listen to you or, you know, become a leader where I meant like by acting out and everybody being, having confidence in you to deliver in your own household is where it begins. That's where, you know, from your household to your street to your locality, being recognized that you can solve a local issue. I mean, they always say it starts with making your own bed. I think that holds very true.
What is your take on Gen Z, considering what happened in Nepal? What is your take on the current generation?
I think we have varied aspirations, and see, I mean, there is a lot of different opinions on different matters, but as a society, we should always endeavor to solve things as peacefully as possible within the framework we have right now. And just because we don't like a certain thing doesn't mean that we have to go absolutely to a violent end to achieving our means. So, I mean, I think in India, if you're talking purely about our context, I think the current setup of our democracy is a great system, and we are benefited by expressing our sentiments within that system.
Thank you so much for being on the show. It was a privilege talking to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
As we conclude, may Yaduveer Wodeyar's journey remind us that true leadership arises from honoring our heritage while inspiring progress for generations to come. For more such content, keep watching NewsFirst Prime.